Mahmoud Khalil, why he's being detained, why it matters, and why it goes against your freedom of speech, left or right, citizen or immigrant, why the weaponization of the justice system will kill democracy, free think and free speech, the Trump presidency, and ultimately the Republic of the United States of America. Let's start with this guy, Benjamin Netanyahu.
מי שיחרים אותנו מוחרם בעצמו. בשנים האחרונות קידמנו בארצות הברית, ויש כבר ברוב המדינות שם, חוקים שמי שמחרים את ישראל נענש בעצמו. אז זה לא יעזור להם, אנחנו לא מתרגשים מזה, ואנחנו נלחמים בזה.
If you are paying attention, that is a foreign leader of a foreign nation who has their recycled dollars deep in the pockets of our members of Congress, leaders of the House and representatives that should be leading your movement forward in your country that you live in, that you pay taxes in, your American dollars. Basically saying if you, an American citizen on American soil, paying your American dollars to your American government that should be in concern of your American affairs, don't support his country, Israel, financially or ideologically, you, an American citizen, and in this case, any legal permanent resident, will be boycotted. What does that even mean? A prime minister of a foreign nation boycotting citizens in the country who is the hands that feed him, by the ways. How ironic. He goes on to brag that he has managed to influence and get laws passed in almost all states so that anyone who boycotts his foreign nation, Israel, will be punished. And according to him, in his own words, he does not care. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? That should make you crawl in your boots that a man you've neither elected or selected has so much power in your country that he can take you out anytime for free think or free speech. Because like he said, he does not care. Once what is being done in America, a country of which he does not live and isn't an elected leader, is in the interest of Israel, a stolen land and state empowered by the West. He does not care. Now let's go back to Mahmoud Khalil. Mahmoud Khalil is first and foremost a Palestinian. Let me say that again. Mahmoud Khalil is first and foremost a Palestinian. That is his heritage. That's where his family is from. He's Palestinian. Mahmoud is indeed from the nation of Palestine. He is a pro-Palestinian activist, recent master's degree graduate of Columbia University School of International and Public Affairs, born in Syria to Palestinian parents. His family fled to Lebanon during the Syrian civil war, and he later migrated to the United States to pursue his education. Mahmoud is a legal permanent resident, so far a law-abiding, tax-paying, green card holder resident, who in fact has the same right as any citizen of the United States under the law to freedom of speech, to free speech. He is married to an American law-abiding citizen, a practicing, now 8 months pregnant dentist in the state of New York. This is an American family by any extent of those words. Among his peers, Mahmoud is described likened to a negotiator of sorts, leading Columbia University's apartheid divest, which urged the university to stop divesting in companies associated with Israel. I'm almost confident that you can disagree with the state of America and go on to being a law-abiding citizen, or in this case, resident. I am sure those two things are not mutually exclusive. Mahmoud has a reputation to be principled, a strategic organizer with an ability to de-escalate tense situations. No, I don't know this guy.
socially or politically.
I have no meat in this game but the meat of principle, justice, and fairness.
Except for the fact that I too am a law-abiding permanent resident with a opinion, because I'm allowed to have that about anywhere that I live and pay taxes. I think that is fair.
Bear in mind, I am a Trump supporter and a champion for the conservative movement that has moved this nation forward to a more reasonable stance and for stronger leadership. But this seems to be the year of trying to take down good guys. From Justin Baldoni to seemingly this law-abiding resident. Who's next? From the PR teams, ex-CIA agents to the Justice Department is willing to show their dirty hands, and it is despicable in my opinion. Now, Mahmoud might not be blameless in every situation or even a perfect human being. I don't know, because there has been no proof given to him being this anti-American, anti-Semitic, pro-terroristic person. None whatsoever. But all I know is what is right, and what is wrong will always be wrong. No matter how you phrase it, no matter how you put it, no matter how you stumble over your words in press briefings because you cannot find the truth which you're hiding, right is right, wrong is wrong. Mahmoud was arrested and detained on March 8, 2025 by ICE agents linked to Trump.
Question here on Mahmoud Khalil. Does the administration believe that it needs to charge a green card holder with a crime to be eligible for deportation?
Well, in fact, Secretary Rubio reserves the right to revoke the visa of Mahmoud Khalil, and I'm glad you brought this up. Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, the Secretary of State has the right to revoke a green card or a visa for individuals who serve or are adversarial to the foreign policy and national security interests of the United States of America. And Mahmoud Khalil was an individual who was given the privilege of coming to this country to study at one of our nation's finest universities and colleges. And he took advantage of that opportunity, of that privilege, by siding with terrorists, Hamas terrorists who have killed innocent men, women, and children. This is an individual who organized group protests that not only disrupted college campus classes and harassed Jewish American students and made them feel unsafe on their own college campus, but also distributed pro-Hamas propaganda, flyers with the logo of Hamas. That is what the behavior and activity that this individual engaged in. And I have those flyers on my desk. They were provided to me by the Department of Homeland Security. I thought about bringing them into this briefing room to share with all of you, but I didn't think it was worth the dignity of this room to bring that pro-Hamas propaganda. But that's what this individual distributed on the campus of Columbia University. And this administration is not going to tolerate individuals having the privilege of studying in our country and then siding with pro-terrorist organizations that have killed Americans. We have a zero-tolerance policy for siding with terrorists, period.
Labeled as a pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic, big one, oh my gosh, shocker, for anti-American activity without evidence of any such things. Only the evidence Caroline Levitt refuses to bring to her press briefing because, according to her, she did not think it was worthy the dignity of the press briefing room to show us this alleged pro-Hamas flyer with pro-Hamas propaganda Khalil was supposedly arrested for disseminating on campus because it goes against national security interests. National security interests. National security interests. Caroline Levitt has never failed to bring evidence to her press briefings. Exhibit 1. Documents outlining the fraud, waste, and abuse of the previous administration. Now, this administration has likened themselves to be transparent. Why stop now? Sounds to me that now standing up for innocent lives in Palestine, even if you are indeed Palestinian, can go from being labeled pro-Palestinian to pro-Hamas real quick. This kind of free speech attack that then can be used against you as being anti-American by partaking in anti-American activities and involving yourself in pro-terrorist groups and being anti-Semitic, the big one. Aren't we all just anti-Semitic?
Oh, give it a rest.
Which then makes you liable for ineligibility of your green card or citizenship if you are citizen by naturalization, because you are not allowed to think freely and to say that out loud. And let's be honest, this is what this is about. Netanyahu said it, and now it is a reality. He does not care. And that is one of the reasons why they moved Mahmoud from New York, where a judge placed a temporary hold for him to be deported because there was no probable cause or crime committed, just someone who is made to be the example so that you, a resident or citizen by naturalization, know that you are not allowed to say anything, because the land of immigrants, let's be real, this is the land of immigrants. Immigrants made up this country and make this country go round and round. The land of immigrants is more interested in carrying out the will of Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, than the citizens and residents of the country that pays taxes so that Benjamin Netanyahu can be on the internet telling us, permanent residents that pay taxes in this country, that he doesn't care because he's going to make sure that laws are passed so that we don't boycott his little genocide that is going on over there. And we must stand aside as human beings and watch children being blown up and say nothing, because we have no feelings, we have no heart, we have no soul. We must do as he does and shut up and let it happen. And just so you know, citizens of America, you are also a part of this group. Whether you know it or not, whether you agree with it or not, you also are not allowed to say anything, because you also will be boycotted. You're top on the list, okay? Because permanent residents can go back to their countries. You're going to have to stay here, and your free speech will also be limited. So if you think this is not about you, it is more about you than you think it is. So back to what pro-Palestine versus what pro-Hamas actually means, because this kind of rhetoric and this kind of labeling are two different things. These are two separate things that any human being at any institution, whether that be primary or tertiary, should be thinking about as it affects us as human beings in this world, especially someone who went to school to study international affairs, right? Okay. So these terms politically charged can now mean various things depending on the context or the person you're talking to. And if you are not an intelligent person paying attention to what's going on and how they're calculatively using language to manipulate, misquote, and mischarge normal people exercising their rights, and next, it is you. Mahmoud faces deportation as a Southern District of New York judge issued a temporary order blocking the deportation of Mahmoud Khalil. This order was issued on March 10th, 2025. Khalil was transferred to the LaSalle Detention Center in Louisiana, I'm assuming shortly after this ruling. This has raised concerns among Khalil's legal team, family and supporters who argue that it hampers his access to legal representation and his family support. Bear in mind, this man has a 8 months pregnant wife. His attorneys have filed a motion requesting his return to New York, emphasizing that the transfer occurred without prior notice and despite pending habeas corpus petition in New York. What in the Trump presidency is going on? Trump has been in office for less than 3 whole months, and somehow he has forgotten all that was done to him and his wife and his family. He has forgotten how the radical left treated him unfairly. It is not in the best interest, nor is it wise for the Trump administration to become radically right. Instead, correct the systems and thinking that cause for radicalization either left or right. But maybe it's more than that. Because the way Marco Rubio was stumbling over his words without ever clearly stating what Khalil would be charged with, since he has not been charged with an actual crime yet, makes me think pressure from Israel. Pressure from Israel. You took the recycled money, stood in front of the wall, your allegiance was formed, or prove us wrong. The pressure is getting worse. Because what is this? Caroline Levitt, which I defended on TikTok, tweeted support for, seems flustered and set away from the pure mom press secretary that we were once proud of. Now she has spoken like a true politician. You go, Caroline. Big win for you, moving away from your integrity. You see, the thing is, politicians think we are stupid, that we don't know A from bullfoot. So they want to stand up there and lie to our faces and demand or expect or respect. But we are not idiots. We know enough to know that we in these streets, we've seen some things and we've seen these games before. They've played out before our very eyes prior to this administration and prior to that and prior to that. And no one wins. Only the further degradation of a system proclaimed to being transformed to a golden age. But good luck with that attitude. Trying to create something golden with a lie. Just remember, what goes around comes around. But since it's a game to get us emotionally riled up in support of the left or the right, as always, I choose the Most High God, Yahuwah, Yeshua HaMashiach, or Savior, and the Ruach HaKodesh, because only the Holy Trinity sees and knows.